This is part 3, so make sure to watch previous parts. Also, link is in the description and comments section. Stetch thinks that due to the presence of so many spirit stones, it is not a shocking thing for Mineral Lizard to be there. Then Mineral Lizard attacks him with fire breath. Stetch dodges his attack but gets hurt on his shoulder. Memento tells him to concentrate and tells that he can heal him, but that doesn't mean he keeps dying again and again. Stetch thinks that this lizard is very difficult to defeat. Mineral lizards melt materials through their stomach acid. For this reason, his skin is very tough and no weapon affects him. That's why Stetch was going to use Air Bullet, but Memento stops him from doing so. Because those people are deep inside the cave and using a powerful attack, the cave can collapse anytime. Just then Mineral Lizard uses Fire Breathe again. Stetch panics. Memento tells him that this is the right time to use your new weapon. Stetch takes some kind of capsule and puts it on the sword. The lizard was right in front of him and was about to attack, but Stetch leans down and avoids the attack, after which he jumps and goes over lizard head and attacks with a sword and shoots the capsule, due to which the lizard dies. But due to this attack, Stetch was completely shaken. He thinks that this sword is very powerful. It has entered his head straight. After that he uses curse-eating skill and draws mana. He thinks that these gas bullets called canisters are given to him by a drunken man named Clyde, who give him a free try with the sword, but Stetch thinks that now it will be less. Now only those 4 were left with him. Stetch believes that Clyde has made this sword as powerful as possible, but what if he had to fight with tough monster again? Then Memento tells him from behind that I find something wrong here. Stetch asks, what do you mean? Memento says it is a bit difficult to explain, but I think there is definitely a problem here. Stetch asks him if you can tell me in simple words. Memento was eating lizard, after which he immediately tells Stetch from inside the ring that all I'm saying is be careful and don't get into the unnecessary fight. Then he hears a menacing roar. When he turns around to see that another mineral lizard has come to fight him, he can no longer use the canisters as he has to save them. The lizard attacks him but he avoids the attack, after which he sees the lizard's weakness and goes to attack him. But the lizard hits back at him, so he has to save himself by using his sword, because of which he slips back. Stetch thinks it is more powerful than the previous one, especially the tail of the lizard, which is very strong and flexible. But still it is a lizard in front of that Terrasac dungeon monster. He attacks the lizard again, but the lizard uses his hand to save himself. Stetch understands that this lizard's skin is very tough. The lizard uses his tail and throws Stetch away. Memento say him idiot, and that he should be careful because this lizard is quite different. Stetch says that he knows it is much stronger than others, but still it is a living creature. He was about to say something, but then the lizard comes right in front of him and grabs his head with its claws. Memento tells him that even the most stupid monster goblin's child is careful during the fight. You focus, bastard. Stetch asks him to calm down and tells that he has a plan. He says, I have Plemons powder in my left hand and Firefly powder in his right hand, and what will happen if we mix it? After which he raises both his hands, mixes both the powders in one hand and keeps the other hand down. He hits his other hand with the hand containing the powder and says that it is fire. Due to a slight explosion, the lizard had gone back and now Stetch was about to kill him by taking advantage of this opportunity. But then it is written in his skill window that, warning, 95% of normal body tissue detected. Seeing this, Memento immediately tries to stop him, but it was too late. With this there is a huge explosion. The blast finally calms down. Stetch was lying there injured. Memento was healing him and was also cursing him because despite his refusal, Stetch did not stop at that time. Stetch says that you should have told me before attacking, after which he asks what happened after all. The Memento says that the body of that mineral lizard was magically modified. He asks what is the meaning of magically modified. The Memento tells him that someone had tampered with the monster's tissue, which is still in this dungeon. Hearing this, he gets shocked and says that I have to fight with such monsters which can explode anytime. Memento says maybe and maybe not, but are you scared? He says there is no question of being scared, I will go inside. After which he uses pathfinding skill. Only then he feels a bit strange because he is also using animal instincts but is not able to sense anything. Then he sees a skull and crystals and asks if it is a monster. Memento tells him that it is a monster. He thinks that this type of monsters do not react until people approach them, but it's been here since long and still it's lying like this. Memento says that one is lying here too, and tells him that you should be a little careful or else one can blow up anytime, so it would be better to ignore. He says that this will be fine and starts leaving from there. Then he hears some sound from the monster. He turns back and sees that something is wrong. Memento tells him to run away immediately, After that there is a huge explosion. Stetch was running away, but the effect of the blast is still there and he falls. He says that they will explode even if we don't touch them. Memento asks him to stand up and to keep quiet. As soon as Stetch looks in front of him, he is very shocked, because in front of him was a mine of gems of the best quality. He thinks that if he sold even a few of these, he could live freely for the rest of his life. But as soon as he touches those gems start sparking. Memento says this thing was troubling me since long, but now I understand. He asks, what did you understand? The Memento says that you might not be able to sense it, but the air of this dungeon is filled with some kind of strange mana. And the more you go inside, the more powerful it becomes, to the point that it has started bothering Memento. First the mineral lizard, after which it is the skeleton monster. The further they go into the dungeon, the more sensitive monsters they are getting, which are also bursting quickly. He asks that the reason for monsters becoming unstable is this strange mana. Memento says that seeing exactly how those gems reacted, the effect of this mana is not only on monsters, rather everything in the dungeon is happening. Stetch says that this means the whole tunnel is basically a minefield. Memento says that there is one more thing which you will not like at all. Stetch tells what you mean and what could be wrong. The Memento says that due to the high concentration of mana, low-level recovery skills will not work. Stetch looks at his hands and he now knows. Memento tells him that this is just a guess of mine, but the way it is happening strangely, there is a very good chance that even his teleportation scroll will not work. Because of high concentration mana, it will be difficult to find a safe place for the scroll. And even worse, it can happen that you teleport directly on top of a pile of stones. He asks, does it mean there is no way to escape? Memento says it is not a hopeless condition at all. He still doesn't know who is behind all this. But if Stetch kills the guy who's spreading weird mana, then he can get out of here. Stetch says that then we should go ahead because it will not be impossible. He comes far and wide while walking, but he does not find thing who is spreading this strange mana. But there is a very big door in front of him, and thinking that whoever will be here will be on the other side of it. He directly opens the door, but as soon as he sees in front of him, he gets shocked, because there is a strange energy in a place front of him. Memento tells him that it is Jin. Stetch asks what is a spirit doing here. The Memento says look in the center, there is an artifact. Stetch is shocked to see this. Spirits are born from combination of mana and dark energy. They have no consciousness, they only exist to destroy their surroundings. You could say they are like natural disaster, but for some unknown reason artifact is located at the center of the spirit body. But then suddenly the stone monster who is the dungeon keeper attacks him. Memento tells him that this keeper is the problem. It has merged itself with the artifact and is spreading mana all over the dungeon, because of which everything was exploding. Stetch says then the answer is very simple, we just have to get rid of it and get out of here. That monster attacks him by throwing a stone, but Stetch saves himself by using his sword. But then he sees that a stone is coming towards him, but it is a little different. He understands what it is and his condition worsens. The stone reaches him and there is a huge explosion. Memento tell him to avoid it and tells that this part of dungeon has high concentration mana, and Stetch's interference is making it more powerful. If everything continues in this manner, then Stetch, his sword and everything around will be burnt to ashes. Then Stetch sees that the spirit flow of the keeper has increased a lot. He thinks what is happening. He feels that something is not right. Energy flow of that monster had increased a lot. Memento understood what is happening, so he tells Stetch that if you want to stay alive then run away. Stetch also says damn it. Then that dungeon keeper attacks with an energy beam. But Stetch avoids the attack and thinks that this is his chance to attack. He raises his sword and goes to attack it with a jump. The dungeon keeper's whole body is made of stone, but his joints must be weak. He got close to the monster and attacks. The stone breaks and starts going down. But only then he sees something that he cannot believe. While falling the stone, it stopped itself, after which it returns and gets hit the Stetch. Stetch falls down and thinks that the matter of killing is different. How can he damage this thing? Memento tells him that you attack his core, its artifact. Because the keeper's core and artifact are connected with each other, they can neutralize it with the help of curse eating and absorb its mana. Stetch says that it is easy to speak but not to done. He was not even able to approach him. That's why he has no other way left. As soon as the keeper attacks with energy beam, Stetch also decides to face him with air bullet. The two forces clash with each other, but the keeper's beam was a bit too strong. Stetch asks him if you can break through it. Memento tells him that it is not strong enough yet and immediately tells him to be careful. Due to the collision of both the forces, the keeper's beam starts moving here and there uncontrollably, and due to this the stones of the cave start breaking. A huge stone was about to fall on Stetch, but he sees it in time and is saved by taking a jump. Stetch thinks that any kind of attack long range and short range is not working, so he starts running close to that keeper as much as possible. After which he makes a jump with his sword and goes right on top of the keeper he wanted to attack with canisters. But the keeper comes to know that Stetch is about to do something. That's why he protects the place of his core with other stones. Stetch does not get a place to attack properly, but because he had no other way, he has to shoot. A huge explosion happens there and Stetch was also getting tired. He sees that the sword is a little inside the stone and it didn't make much difference. Then the keeper attacks him from the other side. He goes away and falls. He get hurt a lot. Blood starts coming out of his mouth. Lying there injured, he asks why the air bullet didn't work. Because that attack was enough to break some stones. Memento says, I told you earlier that the mana here is messed up. That's why magic skills will not work properly. Then he sees that the monster has again attacked him with stones. He starts stopping those attacks with the sword. The monster was not taking the name of stopping. After a while, finally his attacks calm down. Memento asks him, are you fine? He asks if you feel fine. I am feeling like I am trying to break a stone with an egg. The Memento warns him to look to his left as the monster is attacking him. Stetch says that if I can't bear this much, then I have no right to take revenge. With this he manages himself and escapes from attack. He gives himself courage and says that my earlier attacks may not work, but he knows that Clyde's sword is hurting him. If he keeps attacking the cracks of that monster, then he can break through the defense of that monster. He goes to attack again with the sword and thinks it can't be easy, but maybe it will work anyway. Then he is shocked to see that the monster has made another attack on him. To avoid the attack, the canister has to be used again. Now he just had one canister. If he misses that too, he's screwed. All he has to do is attack the crack. But then he sees something strange. He could not understand what is happening. The keeper was spinning with all his stones. He's standing there wondering what is this happening. Memento tells him, why would you stand here like this, run? Only then he realizes something through animal instincts. That monster had attacked him. He collides directly with the stone and blood was also coming out of his mouth. He again collides with the wall and falls there. He was almost in the condition of dying, absolutely expressionless. Memento asks him if he is fine. After that he tells him that he may not even want to hear this, but his body is also mutating with mana. He takes a deep breath and asks how much time he have before he mutates completely. Memento tells that he has 3 minutes or maybe even less. Only then we see Stetch, as his eyes were shining with determination.